Welcome to the Whitworth Pirate Podcast. Every show will feature pirate student athletes telling us about their lives as students, athletes, and people. Now, here is your host, Bud Nameck.
And welcome to the very first Pirate Podcast. I'm Bud Nameck. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk cross country first. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good.
Okay, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to since you guys are twins, we have to do this kind of fun. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
I am Mark Dugenet.
I'm James Dugenet.
Did you guys ever? It's pretty easy. You have different hairdos.
Yeah.
Is that always the case?
Yeah, pretty much.
Always has been.
I used to have long hair, so that was
okay.
a big difference between us.
You never tried to pretend to be one or the other?
No, we never looked quite similar to each other. Especially when we were babies, I was bald and long hairs.
But we do get mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. That would be. What's the coolest thing about being twins?
I think just running with James has been awesome. We always have like some friendly competition with just each other, and we've been able to support each other as teammates and brothers for ever now.
Mm-hmm.
Teammates usually spur each other on. Little sibling rivalry can go even further, though, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Always a goal to beat him in every race.
Do you keep a tally?
No, we don't have a tally. I wouldn't be winning the tally right now, though.
You
so.
would not.
Mm-mm.
Well, you were out last year, right, with an injury?
I was.
You were. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I got you guys confused.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I think he used to be faster in high school. I could never beat him. And then we kind of flip-flopped in college.
Why do you suppose that is?
I think James just got better form over the years, and he also runs like a madman too. So,
Did you guys naturally just become runners? Meade High School's got just this unbelievable tradition, as you guys well know, and being a part of it, for excellence in cross country, and the number of cross country runners that have come out of Meade High School, and the guys who've gone on to become coaches and everything. Did you get swept up in that, or was running something that kind of bit you even before that?
I think it was a family thing. Both our parents really liked running, so we'd always get brought along to like local road races and just runs every now and then. And so we just kind of inherited that hobby and eventually got into cross country and track. And then we just happened to go to Meade, where we did get consumed by the traditions of running there.
What's your first memory? I would assume you participated in Balloons Days, a few of them.
oh yeah.
First memories from that?
I remember I used to do it with my mom, and yeah, it's
Were
just
you running, or were you in a stroller? Were you walking?
Oh, first time I was in James and I were in strollers. I think our family does it every year, still to this day. So yeah, I mean, we started out on a chair, and then eventually we were walking it, and then when we were late elementary school, we were able to run it.
Sometimes twins grow apart as they get older and want to go different directions. Not the case with you guys. What's the bond that kept you guys together?
I mean, so we're both into running, and things just kind of worked out where we were able to both go to Whitworth. So, I mean, we can't really avoid each other. We kind of, even if we wanted to, we see each other every day. So,
Yeah, I think going into out of high school, we were living together, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to go separate ways. But then once we were in different areas, then seeing each other every day at practice has actually been a big blessing in our lives, and it's actually been something that I didn't know that I would actually want so soon. But yeah, it's just been really great to be able to be together still, and be in a great team community as well with that.
You gonna be able to handle it when you get done with school and you get jobs in different fields, I would assume, or doing different things, working for different companies?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
it's going to be weird. Spent my whole life basically around him,
Yeah.
so.
Now, are you guys keeping it together in terms of you each have the same major?
No.
Very different.
Yeah.
I'm doing athletic training.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm doing social studies, teaching stuff.
Want to
So,
teach?
yeah.
Teaching coach?
I hope so.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And obviously, easy transition from Mead to Whitworth. In terms of geography, it's pretty
Oh, yeah.
close. What was the lure to come and run at Whitworth?
So financially, it worked out because our dad worked here, so we didn't have to pay as much, and then we were able to just do cross country on the side. So why not?
Yeah. It's interesting because we actually do a lot of the same runs that we did in high school just because we're so close. And I don't know if either of us were really looking into running post high school, but then we met up with Toby and it's just great to be able to continue running, and I think that's really just increased our passion for the sport too.
So you knew, obviously, with your dad's background and being a professor here for a long time, you knew kind of what Whitworth was all about, that it was more than just running and going to class and just the fellowship of being with your students and walking in faith, whatever that means for you.
Yeah, I think it's definitely been a culture that I know that like students get very involved. I know that our dad was a French professor, and he would have like some sort of like gatherings with like students where we would be a part of it, and he would be like cooking some like French desserts and stuff. And I think from just seeing how like students are just very involved in like different things, and then also just walking around campus as kids and seeing all this just like different like areas on campus people can connect with and really like be more than just a student was something that I think we grew up pretty familiar with.
It's been a pretty good fall so far for the cross-country team.
Oh yeah.
Our team's better than it's ever been since we've been here, at least. From what Toby's told us, we haven't been this good in like the last 10 years, so we're definitely on the rise.
Yeah, it's been cool to see in some bigger meets. The only schools that are beating you are the Division One, Division One, and maybe an NAIA occasionally. But it looks like Division Three schools. You guys are kind of ruling the roost a bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. We're still a young team, so we'll be returning virtually all our scores next year too. But I think we could do some serious damage to the conference this year, especially with us hosting it. I think we're shooting for top 2 at least.
We hear all sorts of things in sports about home field advantage, and it can be such a big thing. Is there a home field advantage in cross country?
I would say so. It's a course that we're very familiar with. Last year it was the regionals course, so all the schools that will race against that conference have ran it before, but they've only run it once or maybe twice if they come like the day before. But we've practiced on it for just workouts and because it's just so close, and I think just being able to be familiar with the terrain, and also just we were talking about this earlier in the season, but that we just love that course too. It's something that we're able to just kind of identify with this grass field, and it's also just at home, so we feel kind of more at home there and supported, and we also have a lot of close people to us that are able to come and support us, and I think through that it just gives us a lot of motivation to do well.
How much can you glean from each other on the course in terms of strategy and the way you're going to attack it?
So it is a little bit of a tougher course. Mostly it's the thick grass. It drains you. So I think at least last year we tried not to go out too hard and kind of conserve ourselves, kind of communicate between each other where we're at, and then move up on people who are dying. So I think we'll have a similar plan this year, although since we have a faster team, we're going to be a little bit up there.
How much does that faster team push you in practice and workouts during the week before you get into a meet? How much is that beneficial?
Oh, I think it's been benefiting everyone. Our team morale is really high because we know we're good. So everyone wants to get better. Everyone wants to get into that like top 10 or top 7 who competes at conference and regionals. So we're all just kind of motivating each other to get faster.
Yeah, and I would say it's a big like family dynamic. We're not like competing against each other, and I think we're really just pushing each other. So even those of us that are in the back, not necessarily scoring, are just as important on the team as the people who are 1-2. I think that our entire team is essential to our good performance. We just have like a big culture where we just love on each other and support each other from all sides of it. And it's not really a hierarchy based off of speed, but we're all on the same team and we're all brothers, which is something that I think is probably a little bit unique, but very appreciated by all of us.
Very good. Well, good luck the rest of the way. And congratulations, you guys are the answer to a trivia question, the first guest on the very first Pirate podcast. All right, thanks, guys. And we move from outside to indoors to volleyball next.
I met Anidas 10 years ago when he first came to New America. He didn't have bad credit, but he just had no credit to begin with. I took the time to really go over some options with him and figure out what steps he needed to take in order for him to build that positive credit to the point where, fast forward 10 years down the road, he's got his business account with New America, he's got his personal accounts with New America, and he's looking to buy his second home also with New America. That was a sense of fulfillment for me in saying, hey, I helped him get through these steps.
And we turn our attention now to volleyball. Katie Barr with us. Katie, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really happy for you because you're staying healthy this year.
Oh yeah, it's this year especially.
Tell us about last year. That had to be tough.
It was so tough. It was an injury, and so I actually fractured my ankle last year.
And this was in training camp, right?
Mm-hmm. This was preseason, so I was out for most of the season, and then towards the end of it, I was able to get back in for a few, but it wasn't really how I wanted the season to go.
And I would think that's especially hard. Anytime there's a team sport, for an individual who's been injured to come back in is difficult. But volleyball, there's so much timing and getting used to people you're playing with. That's got to be extremely difficult, not only for you, but for your teammates as well.
Yeah, it was a tough transition, especially just to like bring me back on, because you kind of have like your own knit, like set group on the team, and then when someone is brought in, it's kind of hard to adjust to like their style of play versus yours versus the team dynamic and what's been going on.
And let's lead into that with what's been happening this year. You guys have played well. Maybe lost a few more than Whitworth volleyball usually does, but an unbelievably tough schedule to get started with. And maybe that's a good thing in light of the fact that things are a little different this year. There's a conference tournament, which has never been the case before.
No, I've never experienced a conference tournament during, at least when I played, because I came in during my COVID year. So I'm excited. I'm excited to play in the tournament, see who's going to host, and go from there.
Has that changed, do you think, the outlook that Katie and the coaches have taken with you in terms of developing this team so that you peak at the right time, as opposed to a conference season where you have to be on almost every weekend?
I think that our coaches are really doing a good job at, rather than coming up to a peak, they're trying to keep us consistent at that same peak so that we can play at our highest level during preseason, first kind of set a conference, second part of the conference, and then towards the end with a conference tournament, and then hopefully to the nationals.
So high school, you were a very good basketball player as well. Why volleyball over basketball in college?
I think it's mostly because my parents played. They both played in college, and being a high school student, I didn't want to do what my parents wanted to do. But I really loved volleyball, and it was something that was new to me, and I really enjoyed kind of going that route rather than going basketball. But I do miss it from time to time.
Do you? Enough that you might sneak out and play some basketball once in a while?
Yeah, every once in a while at the gym or something with my dad if he comes up.
You ever go to a Whitworth women's game and watch them and say, well, I could be helping them?
I don't know about helping, but they definitely come to a few of their games.
No,
and
you're probably too modest, right?
I don't know. I have not touched a basketball since junior year of high school, so it could be rough out there.
It'd probably come back pretty quick for you, though. What's the characteristic of this year's volleyball team that you enjoy the most?
I think that I enjoy all of the friends and kind of family orientation on the team, I know that I can reach out to any of the girls and they would immediately respond with any of my concerns or any questions that I have. I know that I can lean on them during the game, on the court, off the court, whenever I need them. So I really just like Whitworth Volleyball. I think our coach does a really great job recruiting, and to the point where we can all get along really well.
And it kind of goes to, earlier we were talking about competition on the cross-country team.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got good competition in practice, it makes everything so much better for a game situation.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Like, you can always rely on the other team. It doesn't matter if there's starters on one side and then non-starters on the other. Everyone's playing to their full potential, trying to beat the other team. So it's good competition.
So you grew up in the Sacramento area in California,
I did.
and you come to Whitworth. How'd that happen? How'd it come about?
Oh my goodness. I was really interested in the study abroad program here, which is the main reason I came. So I talked to Coach Katie before I came, and she said that it was very possible opportunity. She encouraged me to study abroad. So that's kind of why I went Whitworth, and then I wanted to get out of California. Just a lot of people, but I do miss the weather. I don't like the snow.
Well, growing up in Sacramento, you could get to the snow pretty easily, but you didn't have to live in it.
I had never lived in it before I came to Whitworth, and I had to drive in it the very first time.
How'd that go?
Oh, it was awful. I like skidded, and then I got scared, and then I got out of the car and made my friend drive instead. So it was
But now you're a veteran?
I can drive in the snow with very, very cautiously, but
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm a veteran.
So has it been a decision to come to Whitworth that if you had to make it again, you'd do the same thing?
I think that I would. I think a lot of people are kind of iffy, especially on D3 schools, but I think it was a perfect balance that I needed for school and sports and what I wanted to do in the future. So I probably would choose Whitworth again.
Which is, what would you like to do in the future?
I have no idea. I want to say I have an idea, but I really have no idea what direction I want to go. So fingers crossed we figure it out this year.
Do you have a major yet?
I do. I'm double majoring in Spanish and International Studies.
Espanol. Okay. Yeah, you could do some things with that, I would think.
Just a couple.
Yeah, especially if you decide to go back to California.
Very true, especially down in SoCal. So we'll see. We'll see where I end up. Probably back with my parents, but who knows?
That can be a good thing for a while. For a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's first off, just in terms of trying to figure out where you're going, how does volleyball play into that in terms of molding where you might go with your career outside of volleyball?
I think that volleyball has just kind of like, I want to say like reaffirmed just like my competitiveness to like get out there and be uncomfortable a little bit, because I know volleyball puts me in some pretty uncomfortable situations. So it kind of helps turn that into my life and carry that on. So volleyball's just helped like my teamwork abilities, and just getting to know a core group of people for like the future if I ever need to lean back on people.
And you talked about coming to Whitworth for the study abroad possibility. Have you done that already?
I have. I've studied abroad in Tanzania and then in Spain just this last semester.
Okay.
So
as we said, it can be tough with volleyball going on to have to miss some volleyball.
It was really tough for the 2 spring seasons that I missed, but coaches supported me still, and I worked really hard over summer, both summers, to get back into it, and still trying to get back into it, but we're getting there.
What did you do in Tanzania?
So it was a semester abroad, and I was taking a few political science, and I learned Swahili at one of the schools there.
Easier or harder than Spanish?
Oh, so, it's probably like a little bit easier than Spanish, but like the verbs and nouns and everything are a little bit like tricky to pronounce. So.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So going forward with this volleyball team, is your best volleyball still ahead of you?
What do you mean?
This team getting better and going to be a factor in the conference race and ensuring that you get to the tournament and you know kind of make some moves in the tournament.
I would say so. I would say yes, only because we started off with a pretty young team, and I believe that everyone kind of got like their feet wet a little bit, so that now where they're starting to get like that competitive grit. So each game is more and more of an opportunity, and I think that as the season goes on, we're going to become more and more difficult opponent. So I'm excited.
And you've had to adjust playing out of the back row a little bit more than maybe you did before?
Oh yeah, there was one practice where I was playing only back row and it was completely different.
Did it go as well as driving in the snow, or?
So much better than driving in the snow. So much better. But yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, I wish you the best of luck down the stretch, the rest of the regular season and the tournament.
Thank you so much.
All right. Katie Barr on the Pirate Podcast. We're going to turn our attention to football. Talk to Daniel McKiernan up next.
I met Chris, it was actually through a phone call, and he was talking to me about his landscaping company, and he was looking to get some financing to buy a truck, a trailer, and some heavy equipment. What I like about New America is when it comes to decision making, it's right down the hall from my office. And we're able to meet his needs within a month. It feels great to see a business expand.
And we turn our attention to football now. Dan McKiernan joining us now, and Dan and I were chatting a little bit. I'm an old man. I covered your dad when he played at Gonzaga Prep, and then I just learned from you. I forgot about this. That's what happens when you get old. That he went to my alma mater and played football. So at Santa Clara. So he had to be on one of the fairly late Santa Clara teams, because it wasn't too long after that Santa Clara decided they could get along without football, which was too bad.
That's right. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how far after it was when his career was over that they stopped playing, but yeah, he was on one of those later teams before they stopped playing football there.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. They had a good program at the time and did a lot of good things, and I had a few classmates who actually made it into the NFL from there, but it was disappointing to see that they dropped the program, but those things happen. It's progress, as they say. So in terms of having a dad who was a good football player and going to school at Gonzaga Prep, which has a great football tradition, how much did your dad give you advice about football as you were playing at Prep and as you were growing up? Did you seek that from him? Did he give it? How'd that work?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was coaching me playing tackle football since I was in second grade. My tackle football team was always called the Bullpups, and then I went on to play at Gonzaga Prep myself, and even got coached by some of the same guys that he got coached by. So there's definitely a strong tradition there, and it had a big influence on my upbringing growing up. I remember going to school on some days in middle school, and he'd have us sing the Bullpup fight song on the way to school and stuff like that. So it definitely had a good impact and a good influence on me growing up, especially moving on to this level and having that experience.
And before you were a Bullpup, did you go to all the parochial schools? Did you?
Yeah, I went to a Cataldo Catholic school
Cataldo?
from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
I was always out, Friday night lights, going to Bullpup games, and I was even a ball boy for a few years there too. So definitely was, kind of born into that environment.
So was it a pretty easy transition then to come to Whitworth as you went through parochial school and then Gonzaga Prep and then continue your education at a faith-based school?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of similarities between the Gonzaga Prep program and the Whitworth program. I know Sandberg and Coach McKenna at Gonzaga Prep are pretty good. They talk a lot, they have meetings and stuff. Sandberg goes and visits G Prep a lot, and yeah, I mean, I'm just blessed because, being coached by guys like Coach McKenna and Coach Sandberg, I know that's not something that a lot of players get, to be influenced and to be coached and to have that experience from them and to learn from them, and it's been nice to move on from Gonzaga Prep into a program where I can continue to grow in many different ways.
Has it been a blessing to stay close to home and play?
It's been awesome. I mean, choosing Whitworth for me, like, my family, staying with my family was a big, played a big role into why I chose to come to Whitworth. So, when I don't even really remember, it was during COVID when I made that decision. I was trying, I was in the recruiting process, but everything was so weird with that COVID process. I called Sandberg one day, or I tweeted at him, and he ended up talking to me on the phone, came over to my house. I remember one time he texted me a picture. He sent me like a selfie on my street with like my street sign, and I was like, all right, well, this guy's a little bit different, but he definitely brings a different type of energy, and that's something that I was just attracted to and I wanted to be a part of.
Where did you play on defense at Prep? Were you D end or linebacker?
I was middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker.
Yep.
Okay. And you came here basically to play linebacker.
Yep.
and now you're playing safety.
Yep. Yeah.
Tell us about that transition.
Yeah, so when I was initially, when I was in high school as a sophomore, I initially played strong safety. You know, I was like 140, 145 playing strong safety. My defensive coordinator, H.T. Higgins, I guess he liked me playing middle linebacker. I just kind of fit into, you know, how our defense was. That didn't necessarily help with my recruiting in high school, just being a skinny little 150-pound linebacker, but it was enough to get Sandberg's eyes on me, and enough to actually, you know, get me recruited as an outside linebacker in college. And now, you know, I guess just how I fit with our defense, they moved me to safety, and it's been going pretty good.
I would say it's going pretty well. 3 games, 3 interceptions. You're tied for the lead in the nation in interceptions personally at the Division III level, which is a pretty cool thing. And the interception in the last game, I called it on the radio as though you were playing center field and just catching a pop-up. That thing was kind of thrown up. How big were your eyes? Just,
oh man,
that ball just in slow motion, maybe floating to you?
Yeah, I was licking my chops on that one. My buddy, my cornerback Talidi Adams, he played that great. So I was just, you know, middle of the field there. Everyone else was in man, and he was able to kind of cut him off, and the receiver wasn't able to get the ball, and you know, it was really just a gimme. So a lot of those plays are just a result of my guys doing their job. And big plays happen as a result of, you know, everyone doing what they're supposed to be doing.
This defense has really come up with a penchant for getting takeaways. Taking the football away from the opponent. That's huge.
Yeah, that's something we emphasize, you know, every week. Coach Mack talks about it. We have a board of, you know, how many takeaways we're getting. It's something that's talked about in our full team meetings. Our goal is to have more takeaways than the other team every single game and to end positive on that. And I think we've been doing a really good job of that, forcing fumbles, getting interceptions. Special teams has been, you know, making turnovers and getting the ball into the offense's hands, which has been super important for us.
You talked about coming here during the COVID year and listed as a junior right now, so technically 2 more years to play. Would there be a 3rd year possibly for you?
Yeah, so I'm actually the cutoff year for COVID eligibility. So senior year would be my last.
Okay.
That's my last year. You know, it's been interesting. You know, being in college and having those 5th year guys, the old guys, you know, in front, and just, you know, being able to learn from them and see, you know, how they go about things. And it's just been a peculiar kind of circumstance, but it's been great. And you know, guys like B.J. Mullen, Colton Chellen, you know, it was awesome to be able to play with them. Get to learn from them, and you know, see how they go about things, and you know, be able to kind of take what I think is good from them, and you know, kind of go about it my own way too.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to that too, because you were behind some really good players at linebacker and in the secondary, so those first couple of years it was a little tougher to get playing time.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of the process. Like, you know, sometimes you're just thrown into circumstances like that, and you just kind of got to roll with the punches. I think, you know, I was able to get an idea of what the whole process was really like, and it allowed me to develop. And you know, we're here now, and we're playing good. And I think, you know, you just got to trust the process sometimes, and let it play out.
How's school going?
It's going good. I just declared my major for business management, and yeah, I'm trying to keep up with it. It took me a while to make that decision. I still don't really know what I want to do after college, but like I said, just roll with the punches and see how it works out.
Yeah, no, there's opportunities to latch on to something that can lead you somewhere. So maybe set up an internship and learn a little something that way.
Yep.
See what goes.
Just see how it goes.
Yeah. So looking ahead for this football team, just you confident, excited about this team going forward in the Northwest Conference?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to think too far forward. You know, one of the things that our captains have emphasized this year is just winning the week. So that's something that, you know, I think in past years we look so far forward, you know, worry about getting a championship, worrying too far down the road instead of what you got to do today, what you got to do to win the week. I'm very confident with our team for the future, but it's really just about focusing on what's right now, who we got to beat this week, which is Willamette, and then move on from there.
You talked about Mac Shaw as defensive coordinator now and took over for Adam Shamian. Has much changed, or tell us about that?
Yeah, I was really excited about that change. I love Coach Shamian, so if Coach Shamian, you're hearing this, don't take that the wrong way. But Mac's my guy. I love Mac. And like we were talking about before, with the old guys in front of me getting those starting reps, I was able to play on a lot of special teams, and Mac was actually the special teams coordinator. So we actually got to get pretty close during my first couple of years here. So when he made the announcement that he was going to be D coordinator, I was just super excited. I knew that he was going to bring a bunch of energy and not stray too far away from what we're used to the first couple of years here with what Shamian was doing. So it's been a great mixture of old and new.
Daniel, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations on what's gone on so far in the season, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I met Anidas 10 years ago when he first came to New America. He didn't have bad credit, but he just had no credit to begin with. I took the time to really go over some options with him and figure out what steps he needed to take in order for him to build that positive credit to the point where, fast forward 10 years down the road, he's got his business account with Numerica, he's got his personal accounts with Numerica, and he's looking to buy his second home also with Numerica. That was a sense of fulfillment for me in saying, hey, I helped him get through these steps.